It's been a long time since we've had anything new to say about Arctic Cat ATVs. And to be honest, reinforcing the positive attributes of their older models was getting a little annoying. Yet, you can't argue with what these older Arctic Cat ATVs did well. The problem was that other than these few positive attributes, there wasn't much good to say about the rest of the ATV. For 2015, Arctic Cat has an all-new ATV platform they've dubbed the XR. And while it does share some visual cues with its older siblings, don't be fooled into thinking it's just the old chassis with new plastic. This is a completely new ATV from the ground up. About the only components shared with the old model are the engine and the gauge package. Because this is an all-new vehicle, we can't just focus on one or two of its traits. We need to get a good picture of what this new beast is all about. So let's take a look at the all-new XR 700 XT EPS from two distinct angles: the specs and the experience. Let me just state right up front that the specifications list for the XR 700 is excellent. It's got 10 inches of front and rear travel, 11 inches of ground clearance, 100 pounds of front and 200 pounds of rear rack capacity, and 1,000 pounds towing. Furthermore, it's equipped with a long list of great features, including a CVT transmission with engine braking, power steering, shiftable 4x4 with front diff lock, digital gauge, cool LED accented front and rear lights, aluminum wheels, and integrated storage. There really isn't much else you could ask for. On paper, the XR 700 looks really good, but the question everybody is dying to have answered is very simple. How does it work? And the answer isn't quite as simple. Here's why. Under the XR's hood, you'll find the same 695cc single overhead cam 4-valve EFI mill you've seen many times before. This engine is a good performer for a big displacement single, but the truth is that this power plant suffers the same drawbacks as the 700 single found in Yamaha's Grizzly. A big single produces ample, though not overly smooth bottom end. In fact, you'll never really find yourself in need of more torque, but they run at a top end really fast. At trail speeds, it's a non-issue. This motor does its job unremarkably well. Simply put, it works, but it can't be compared to other big bore twins. With all that said, and in context, this is a good motor. Let's be honest, the part of the XR everybody wants to know about the most is the chassis. Is this an improvement over older Arctic Cat models? And the answer is most certainly yes. Suspension action is a bit stiff on the small stuff, but works excellent on the big bumps. Unlike Cats of old, you can feel the suspension moving through the full length of its stroke. There's no question you're using all the suspension you paid for with this vehicle. Handling is drastically improved as well, thanks to better sway control and overall more compliant front suspension. A complete redesign of the front end geometry doesn't hurt either. This vehicle stays flat and doesn't feel like it's rolling over onto its outside front tire under hard cornering. The old bike could be scary, plain and simple, if pushed too hard. This one feels composed, and with the help of its standard power steering, handling is quite light, though we do feel there is still a bit too much feedback through the handlebars. An adjustable power steering system would go a long way in this area. Ergonomically, the XR feels similar to the older models in that you're sitting more up on top of the ATV rather than down inside the chassis. In terms of comfort, this riding position might sacrifice just a little bit. But in terms of functionality, this riding position makes maneuvering your body around the vehicle very easy, especially when things get tight and steep. To wrap things up, there's two more topics we need to discuss, starting with the tires. Our XT package came to us with a set of 25-inch Dura Cadence skins wrapped around these cool aluminum wheels. And these might just be the worst tires we've ever run for anything but dry, hard-packed surfaces. Traction is almost non-existent in slippery conditions, and it's really not fair for a vehicle as good as the XR to be rolling on tires like these. It's also not fair for the buyer when they've shelled out extra bling for the XT package. If Arctic Cat could make one change to the stock XR, we think it should be tires worthy of the vehicle they're mounted on. Finally, let's talk about quality. It's no secret that Arctic Cat has suffered in this area in the past, but the XR is on a whole different level when it comes to both build and finish quality. And this is important when you're asking a consumer to drop serious jing on one of your vehicles. We hope this is a trend Arctic Cat continues with. If the XR is any indication, the future of Arctic Cat ATVs looks brighter than it has in over a decade. We're excited to see what they come up with next.
If you like this video, click the link and subscribe to Trax's YouTube page where we're updating all kinds of fresh stuff like you've just seen.